Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're back at it with Speaking Food. We had a little bit of a break in December, so I hope you all had a wonderful Christmas break and a happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We have a really exciting speaker. I'm going to introduce her in a minute or so. I'd like to introduce you to the team. Marwan Dulay is our technical process manager at FPSC. If you've been joining us on our Speaking Food series, you are totally familiar with Marwan. And right now he's going to do some housekeeping things for us.
Thank you, Tracy. And hello, everyone. Just in case I'm just introducing myself again, my name is Marwan Dole, and I am the technical process manager here at FPSC, working with a lot of the teams in the various projects that we run just in the back end and getting things set up. And I'm very, very excited to be here today to help you guys facilitate this session with the wonderful Haley and Tracy. And we'll get into some AI stuff. But before then, just a couple of tips and pieces here. Now, if you're facing any issues with the audio or any pieces or details, the chat is open for you to reach out to me, or you can reach out to me via email. I'll place those details within the chat as well for your reference throughout the session. We will be having a Q&A session once the presentation is done with. So the Q&A is actually an option open to you right now throughout the session where you can answer any questions for the topics that Haley will be submitting. And we'll be fielding those towards the end after the presentation is done. Now, on another note, the call is being recorded, and we will be sharing a recording of the call with you guys alongside any of the materials. That includes the presentation itself and a couple of really fun stuff that Haley has in store for you guys as well. So that is all going to go out to you guys via email. And if anything else comes up at all, just feel free to reach out to me in the chat or email. And I hope you guys have a wonderful session today. We'll get started. Thanks, Tracy.
Um, so I'd like to introduce Hayley Bohan, who is a brand strategist, author, and founder of Marketing on Purpose, with over 25 years of experience building brands that business owners and customers love. Known for her humor, heart, and hands-on insight, Hayley empowers entrepreneurs through her book, Brand Worth Loving, workshops, and the Daring Dreams podcast. Her career highlights include leading marketing for beloved Canadian brands like Moose Light, Alexander Keith's, and Swiss Chalet, where she launched campaigns, repositioned brands, and drove customer engagement. As Chief Marketing Officer at Elandas, she managed branding, product launches, and commercialization strategies. In 2017, Hayley founded Marketing on Purpose to help small businesses create purposeful, successful brands. She's been recognized as a top 20 business coach and a top 30 women disruptor, and continues to champion small businesses with strategic expertise and a sprinkle of AI magic. Please welcome Hayley.
Hello. Awesome. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. It's kind of going back to my roots in food and beverage. So I have a big history in that before I started my own business. So I was really excited when Tracy approached me for this. I'm going to share my screen and we are going to jump right in because we've got a lot to cover. Okay. So all right. So today we are cooking with AI. So let's just jump in. So you guys already have enough information about who I am. The only thing on this slide that you should pay attention to is point number 4. Point number 4 is I am not techie. So if you're not techie, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not techie at all. It's like the worst part of marketing to me actually is to be techie. So to use AI effectively in your marketing, you actually don't need to be techie. And so you can like have a sigh of relief. We're going to talk about things that you don't need technical expertise to do. Before we get started, I really want to know where you're at with AI. So we're going to put up a poll right now. But basically, I want to find out, what's your experience with AI? And I can tailor the rest to that. Dun, 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 dun. Let's find out.
Awesome. Haley, I just want to confirm, you can see the polling results, right?
I can see the polling results.
Awesome. So we got 100% in right now. I'm going to close out the poll. Here we go.
All right. So now everybody can see them, I think. So there's a couple people who signed up for this webinar and they don't even know what the heck they signed up for. So I love that. Okay. So the majority of you, you want to use it or you've been dabbling. So this is actually perfect for the majority of you. I'm not going to go into too many like high level advanced strategies in this, but I am going to share with you how you can use it and my toolbox of what I'm using. So here's the results. I thought I was sharing them, so I apologize for that, everyone. You can see where you landed. All right. So for the two people who said, what the heck is AI? Oh, hold on. For the two people who said, what the heck is AI? Oh my gosh, hold on. It keeps popping up in front of my screen. So AI is basically technology that allows machines to think, to learn, and to make decisions like humans. It does not replace humans, and I'm going to talk a lot about that in this presentation, but it thinks, and we use AI in everyday life all the time. Recommendations, like Netflix uses AI to figure out what you want to watch next. You use it in your smartwatches, on your phones, Siri and Alexa. They're all AI tools that you are probably using on a regular basis. So given the topic of this presentation, I actually want to know, what are you most curious about? You signed up for this. What did you want to find out? What would you be happy with leaving if you found out about whatever? So let me know in the poll, what would you like to know about? What are you curious about? Mm-hmm. I got to give you guys time to type. I'm very impatient, which is why probably I love AI so much. Speeds things up. Anyone else? I love this. So the more you participate in this, the probably more entertaining this will be for you. Although I'm hoping that you're going to learn some stuff that you had no idea about. Okay, we got 70% of the people answered. So if you're trying to get your answering, do it quick. All right, let's stop the poll and see what people have said. So Marwan, we can't see the results. So if you could tell us, share a little bit about what everybody's interested in. Here we go. So new ideas and strategies, how AI can help business grow and expand, current usage levels, if AI is ethical for any reason. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to talk about that. How to get started, the best programs and platforms. Awesome. You guys were covering all of this. What is the connection to AI to the food industry? How and why? How is AI used as it pertains to food and beverage manufacturing? Okay, so this presentation is mainly going to be on marketing versus manufacturing, but it's going to be useful, I would say. All right. How can it be beneficial? So we just want to know, how can we use it to our advantage, which is awesome. So thank you for that. Okay. All right. So what we're covering today, we are covering ethics and limitations of AI, food industry marketing challenges that AI can really help you with. We're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into ChatGPT because it is one of the most common AI used. And for me, it's been an absolute superstar marketing assistant. Then I'm going to share with you what else is in my toolbox, because there's more than just ChatGPT that you can use and take advantage of. And then we're going to have a really quick discussion on custom GPTs, which is taking your ChatGPT to the next level so that it's only using your proprietary information. So let's get started on the ethics and limitations in AI. So the first thing to be aware of is that AI is absolutely not perfect. So it can make mistakes, and usually it happens when the AI, the whatever one you're using, doesn't fully understand the context of what you are trying to get it to do. And so it's really important to ensure that you're feeding it enough information that it can give you good results. But the other thing about it not being perfect is that it is only as good as its interpretation of the material it has been trained on. So AI takes its information mostly from the internet, right? And so if there's things on the internet that are not true, that are fictional, fake truths or whatever, then it could potentially show up in the output that the AI gives you. So you have to go into it knowing it is not perfect, and I'm going to need to check and double check and make sure that what it is giving me is accurate. And also what it is giving me is a good, like if you're using it for content creation or something like that, is a good reflection on the values that we have as a business, right? Because AI doesn't necessarily understand your values. And so you need to really be leery and check the output always. The other thing in terms of limitations and ethics is sensitive data. So a lot of people want to know, can I put my information into an AI and have it be safe, right? My answer would be probably no. So what you want to do in terms of keeping your information sensitive is to don't share something that you wouldn't share publicly in your AI. So if we're using ChatGPT, for instance, don't give it your SIN number, you guys. Don't give it your bank account. Don't give it the link for your bank account and ask it to analyze your finances. Okay. So we don't want to give it super sensitive information. You don't want to give it customer information. You need to think about your own privacy policies and terms of service and terms of use for your business, and make sure you're abiding by them in whatever AI tool that you're using as well. So very important in that regard. One of the things that you can do is obviously you're going to be cautious. But another thing is, when you are, trying to give the AI context so that it can give you information, use anonymous names, use fake names, use that you understand, but you're not putting in exactly information about Jane, your next door neighbor, who keeps going on your property line or whatever, right? So very important to keep your sensitive information confidential. It's online. It's called open AI, actually, right? So it's open. It doesn't mean you can't use it. Doesn't mean you have to be completely terrified, but you do need to be careful. When I ask ChatGPT what it knows about me, it is eerily accurate. Okay, so like it knows things from how I feel about certain situations. It knows everything about my business. It knows what hikes I'm going to be doing this year. It knows how much I weigh. It knows what I want to do for my meal plans. Like it knows it all, right? So there is a way in ChatGPT specifically for you to make sure that your sensitive information isn't saved. You can actually go in and ask it not to remember things. If you have a private conversation with ChatGPT and you don't want it to remember You could say, forget this conversation, for instance. There's lots of ways. But regardless, I would still be a little bit leery of putting anything too private that you wouldn't want to get out. Transparency is one of the ethical things that we need to think about as people marketing for our businesses. You need to let people know when they're using AI. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm really tired of going online and not knowing if something is real or fake or generated by AI. It's really hard, right? And so we don't want to be part of that problem. We want to be part of the solution. And so my recommendation is to always let people know when you're using AI. Be completely transparent. The research is actually showing us that customers are craving that transparency anyways. So let's just be part of the solution. If you use AI, say it's AI, especially on chatbots and stuff like that. It's like, this is a chatbot generated by AI. You could call it, like, I would call mine like, this is Hayley AI, right? And then if you need to speak with a real person, press this, but be very transparent. The other part that you need to be cautious of as you're using AI for your marketing is accountability. So one of the things that so many people do is they think AI is right all the time. They use it for research, they use it for ideas, they use it for content generation, whatever they use it for. They use it for recipes, right? In your industry. And it's not always right. And so you need to have on your team somebody who is going to be accountable for the decision that AI makes. One time I went on a trip. This was last March. I decided to go to Mexico on a whim with a friend of mine, and we went on a snow day. So our flight was delayed. We had to stay overnight, and it was only a 5-day trip. It was like real impromptu. We got a great seat sale. And the next morning we woke up and there was a email that came to us that said, your flight has been delayed. Come at whatever time. So we did. When we got there, our flight was gone. And it was actually the last flight out of the airport. So what had happened is they had an AI bot who made a mistake. So they gave us the time of departure versus the time that you had to, like, there was going to be 2 different airplanes and they were flying to one. And anyways, it was this whole thing, but their AI bot made a mistake. And so we missed our trip and they didn't take accountability. And so AI is not perfect. So you need to have somebody who is overseeing that. Okay. The last one is, and I'm sure you guys have had examples of that too. And if you have, and you want to share those in the chat, feel free to share them so other people can see. The last thing is bias and fairness. So like I said, AI can reflects what it's been trained on, right? And so if what it's been trained on is biased in any way, then what it spits out could be biased. So that's why you need to look and make sure that it is in alignment with your values, with your business, with your ethics, right? So I created a little song for you using AI just to show you some of the fun that we can have with AI. Had a great conversation with Marwan yesterday about how recipes are being generated through AI and causing a lot of issues. So I decided I'm going to turn that into a little song. This took me about 20 minutes to do this song, and I hope you love it. Hold on. Listen to the words.
AI's got a recipe, but it's missing a key. Raw chicken in my smoothie? That's a no from me. From allergens to weird combos, it's a risky game. Cultural dishes with no credit, that's a shame. Unsafe temps, food waste, steps gone astray. Weird ingredients, swaps that ruin your day. Inconsistent measures, bias in the mix. Can AI cook with heart? That's what it's about. Cooking with code, it's a tasty thrill. But don't forget the chef's heart and skill. Measure it twice, safety's a goal. Let's keep it fresh, AI can't do it all. So let's mix tech with a pinch of care. Keep it smart, keep it fair. AI can help, but don't forget the soul. Recipe
it goes on and on, you guys. So I don't have a musical note in my body, but I got to bring you a song, Compliments of AI. So that's some of the fun stuff it can do. If you guys, as a food company, you might want a little jingle, or you might want, something like that that's fun and gets people laughing and talking. So there's things for that, and it's fun and it's easy. Okay, so that's our little song. Oops, hold on. We don't want to listen to it again, do we? There we go. Okay, so what I want you to remember is AI is an absolutely helpful tool. It is going to help you in your marketing. It's going to help you in so many ways, and we're going to talk about all of those. But you are in charge. You are the boss of AI and not the other way around. Okay, and so be the boss of AI, and don't be a boss that just lets things go. You need to be part of it, right? All right. So somebody had asked in the chat, who's using AI and how quick is it being adopted? This chart I found a couple of years ago when AI first started really coming out, and I think it tells a huge story. So what this chart is telling us is that when Netflix came out, it took 3.5 years for it to hit 1 million users. 3.5 years. When Facebook came out, it took 10 months. When Chat GPT came out, which is the main first AI that really made a splash, it took 5 days to hit 1 million users. It's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So the reason I'm telling you that is you need to understand AI and you need to get on the train, or you may be left in the dust, right? And I know that it can be scary for some people, but it is definitely important that you understand what it can do for you and utilize the tools. When it first came out as a marketer, I'm like, what is this going to do to the marketing industry? I was also a professor an instructor at a university. And the same thing, I'm like, what is this going to do to the educational system, right? And we don't know what those results are going to be, but we do know that there are specific things from a marketing perspective that it can help you with and make your life so much easier. I love the comments. So thank you for loving my song. I love it too. Okay, so the top 3 ways AI is changing the way we market our businesses. It's driving efficiency, it is helping us with creativity, and it is helping us to personalize content to more people. So those are the 3 main things, but we're going to get into specifics for you. So I generated all these images in the presentation using AI, using the this one is done in Canva, and I just said, I want a little cute robot in these colors running. And so this is one of the options that it gave me. So if you're using Canva, you can definitely try some of their little AI tools and get some cute images like this. Okay, so let's jump into this section. So I want you to answer in the chat. If we can put the poll up, that would be great. Just say now or wish, okay? So what marketing challenges is AI currently helping you with? So we want to help each other, right? What are you currently using AI for that is actually helping you? And then what do you wish you could use it for? What do you wish you could use it for? So let us know in the poll. What are your answers to that? Now, what are you doing now? And what do you wish you could do? Bye, David. You'll have to catch the replay. Yeah, we're going to close this out in about 50 seconds. So type quick. We don't care if it's punctuated, capital letters. Let's just figure out what are you doing now and what do you wish you could do? Oh, you guys are going to love what you can do. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm a little impatient. 10 seconds, everyone. Just hit send. Okay, why don't we take a look, Marwan, at the results. What are people wanting here? Okay. So so what are people using now? Content creation, graphics, analytics, copywriting, grammatical edits. Yeah, if you guys don't have Grammarly hooked up, I'm sharing it at the end, but you need to get the Grammarly Chrome extension. Currently not using AI in marketing, not using now, helping refine copy, faster decision making. Awesome. Writing emails, suggesting template ideas, assisting with writing exercises, helping fleshing out ideas, writing and content creation. Yeah, the most used marketing way that people are using it is in content creation. It can do your social media, it can do your email, it can do your blogs, it can do so much. It can also do videos and images, and it's really great. Okay, what do we wish? What do we wish? Okay, so we have creating a flyer for various programs. Okay, awesome. Create marketing for customers, internal and external. Help with document writing, help with sorry, my eyes are so bad, you guys. Help challenge my line of thinking. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you. This is the 47-year-old size for us. It could assist in finding contact information. Yes, it can. I would like to know what you can use it for and speed up design work. All of that, you guys, all of that we're going to cover, and it does all of that. So let's jump right in. Okay. Okay. So from a food and beverage industry, I was trying to think of some of the things that might be of interest to you guys. And so here's a few of the ideas that I had that could be of interest to you for your industry that AI can help you with. So getting your products on shelves, right? Like if you have an actual physical product and you want to get it on shelves, how can AI help? So this is just like off the top of my head. It helps with creating lists, so contact lists. You can literally go in and say, hey, I would like to know all the local grocery stores that are, small, maybe organic or farm grocery stores in this area with their address, their phone number, their email, their website. Put it in a spreadsheet, and you can get basically a call list for you to do your distribution reach outs. Then, and I've just done this with the client actually, then you can get ChatGPT specifically, or other like AI tools, to create emails for you. Hey, this is what we're doing and this is why we're doing it, and create like multiple emails that you can send out as a campaign. It can create sales scripts for phone calls. Like I said, you want the human element in it, right? Like it's going to come out super salesy, and then you need to like ask it to tone that down. It can help you with research, like what type of demographics should I be going for this type of product? Is there any cities where those demographics are high? That kind of thing. It can help you with sell sheet copies. Somebody had said they wanted a flyer. It can help you with the flyer copy. It can help you figure out what is the format of the flyer, and then how do you fill in the copy for the flyer. Content for your labels. It can help you with that. Again, check. Human element is going to check it, but it can give you like some of the content for those labels. You can ask it like, what is common for a, Canadian label that is approved by the FDA or whatever, right? So lots of ways it can be used to help you get your products on shelves. it can help you to stand out in a saturated market. So let's face it, you guys, a lot of us, even though we are very special, our food is awesome and nobody does it like us, it's still a saturated market. It's still like, there's still a lot of people that can sell cookies, right? And so we want to be able to stand out in that market. And generally I teach you need to build a brand in order to stand out. You need a strategy. So AI can actually help you with brand building. It can't do it for you, right? It can help you. It can guide you. You can ask, what are the steps I need to take? But you as the marketer or the owner of the organization need to figure out, how do you stand out, right? You need to do the research, but it can help you to do the research. It can help you to figure out some demographic information, second hand information kind of thing. And it can also help you create creative campaigns. So if you know how you stand out, how can you say that differently? It can give you lots of ideas for taglines, and you can take an iterative approach and kind of figure out like your little niche, right? Can help you with ad copy, which can help you stand out. Creative ad copy. The thing about AI is that it's only using what's already been done. So it's not innovative. However, something that was done in the automotive industry that was really cool that could then be applied to the food and beverage industry might be an innovative solution for the food and beverage industry, right? So it's not going to come up with new ideas that have never been thought of. That's where people come in. But it is going to give you some options, and you could ask it, give me some creative ideas that other industries have used, right? And then you can tailor the stuff to whatever you need. So it's going to help you stand out. The next one for you guys, I would assume that repeat purchases and loyalty is hugely important, right? We don't want to like attract somebody to buy one product from us and then never buy from us again. It takes so much time and effort to get somebody to purchase in the first place. So we want them to keep coming back and keep coming back. And so what can AI do to help us with that? So first of all, it can ask you, you can ask it, what can you do? What are some ideas? So ideation, email marketing, it makes it so much faster, you guys, than having to sit and write an email, and to stay in touch with your ideal clients. Same with social media. You can use it to stay in touch, stay top of mind, which is what you want to do. You don't want them to forget about you. So if you have a problem or a hard time to staying consistent in your marketing, AI can really help. And if you can stay consistent, then you can start staying top of mind, right? Chat bots can help you to build loyalty. Like if people have questions and you have an answer right away, that's a good thing, right? If they have to wait, they're done. We are in the like time crunched economy. I don't know what they're calling it, but people like even me waiting for you guys to answer the questions for the polls, I'm like twiddling my thumbs, like, what am I doing? This is taking so long. So we're not used to waiting anymore. And so AI can really help with that. Improve your messaging. If you do ads, part of like, say you do ads on Meta ads, Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that, it helps you with retargeting, right? It's going to help you to see who's like looked at your ad, and then you can retarget them with other messaging. So I'm sure a lot of you have been retargeted. Let me know in the chat. A lot of you have been retargeted for things that you've looked at, and then they come back to you and be like, hey, you forgot about this in your cart, right? That's AI. That's AI. And then the last one, which is all small business, you guys, all business really, is we all have limited time, right? Give me a yes in the chat. Do you have limited time? Limited time and resources. And so what AI can do is you can use it to replace some of those time-consuming, manual, repeatable tasks, right? And then of course, content generation, which most people who are using it for. It reduces the time. Since I started using AI, I would say I spend maybe 25% of the time that I used to spend, and my output is way better. So it's saving a ton of time for me. All right. So let's take a quick look at the next poll. So this poll, basically, I just want to understand how familiar you are with ChatGPT, because we're going to dive into ChatGPT a little bit. And I want to know how deep I'm going to go in this next part. So how comfortable are you with ChatGPT? Yeah. Yeah. Most of us have limited time and resources. Yeah. I don't even know anybody who doesn't, right? Okay. So we got some people, I'm just reading it before you guys can see it. We've got some people who are very comfortable, a lot of people in the middle, and quite a few that haven't used it yet. So, okay, I think we'll give them like 5 more seconds and then let's shut this poll down. Okay, so this is the results, you guys. Can you see those? I'm sharing share results. Okay. So some people are somewhat comfortable. They use it occasionally. I will tell you, I use ChatGPT more than anything else. And I actually feel like ChatGPT for a lot of people in the next probably 6 months is going to replace asking Google, right? We ask Google, find me this, find me this. Like people are just going to go to ChatGPT, which is kind of scary if you've been creating like a strategy for search engine optimization on Google. So we need to figure out how do you optimize ChatGPT. But okay. So okay, cool. So we're all kind of dabbling. As a couple of us know a lot. I'm going to close that. All right. So this section, we're going to jump into ChatGPT, and I'm going to share with you what I've used it for and what you can use it for. And so the first thing obviously is content creation. So really great for product descriptions. My clients really struggle with what their website content's going to be. ChatGPT cleans it right up. It's so good. You just need to know how to ask it. We're going to talk about how do you ask ChatGPT for things. Social media captions. I have a podcast called Daring Dreams, and I actually have trained ChatGPT in a custom GPT to create all the promotion for that podcast. So literally all I do is I upload the transcript. It comes up with 2 titles for the podcast. It comes up with the show notes. It comes up with like 3 or 4 social media posts. It comes up with the description for YouTube using YouTube best practices. It comes up with a blog post. So all of this stuff, and it's like literally takes me 2 seconds to upload the transcript, and it does the rest. Now, of course, I have to go through it all, right? But sometimes I record my podcast like a month before they're aired and I forget what they're about. And so instead of having to re-listen to it all, ChatGPT just tells me, this is what it was about. Do you want to focus on this or this? And so it's very, very quick. Okay. So the next thing is customer engagement. So having really good answers to your FAQs and using ChatGPT to, or not Chat, well, ChatGPT, but like a bot integration to help you with answering FAQs is really great and easy. Interactive chatbots and also email responses. Sometimes, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I do some marketing for clients. And so sometimes I'll get like a comment and I'm like, oh, I'm not really sure how to respond to that, right? So I am a pretty blunt person. And so my response maybe would not be exactly what should be responded on social media. And so I'll go in to ChatGPT and I will ask it, here's the comment. How do I respond in a neutral way? Or how do I respond? Give me some options. And it just helps, right? It gives you some variations that you may not have thought of. I have a client who also uses it to give constructive feedback to her staff. How do I say this? And she writes it out how she feels in a nice way, right? So the next one is idea generation. So campaign themes, event names, company names, promotional ideas. You can ask it to generate ideas and you can feed it information and ask it to keep trying it to give you something that you really like. And then research and analysis. So the caveat on the research is sometimes it's wrong. Okay, it's gotten a lot better since I started using it a couple of years ago. It couldn't even do math a couple of years ago, you guys. You would ask it a simple math question and it would give you the wrong answer. So now it's a lot better, but really take a look, make sure that the information is correct. You can also ask ChatGPT to always give you the sources and the links to the sources. So if it's giving you something, you can then click on the source, give it a quick check, make sure it's okay. And also then especially if it's a blog, you can source sources. That's the nice thing to do, right? And let people know where the content has come from. I use my own data sets. So I do research by uploading my own data sets and getting it to analyze trends in those as well. So it's pretty quick. It's pretty remarkable. So I went on ChatGPT the other day and I wanted to know what are 40 ways that I've used ChatGPT, just because it does remember what you do. So there's a switch on in ChatGPT where it can remember a lot about you. You can turn it on or you can turn it off so it doesn't remember about you. And then every unique chat, you have to retell it everything. It's up to you how you want to use it. But these are some ways that I've personally used ChatGPT. Sell sheet copy, product descriptions, website copy, social media ideas and schedules, post captions, writing proposals, responding to emails, taglines and headlines, podcast essentials, lead lists for clients, Google ad help, story, brand story articulation, email sequences, sales presentation, quiz creation for lead magnets, lead magnet ideas, campaign ideas, finding connections and analyzing things, right? And then I just did a little thing here to show you. So I literally asked ChatGPT, hey, what have I used it for? And you can see here on the left, it just gives me like all of the stuff I've used it for in the last little bit. So I use it for almost everything from a marketing perspective. Does what it give me end up on my website? Usually not, because it's the base, it's the beginning, right? And then I tweak it. Okay. All right. So what can it not do? Because like I said, it's limited, right? So what does ChatGPT not do? So it cannot replace humans. So strategic level thinking, I would never ask ChatGPT to make a strategic decision for me. It can do research for you, give you options, give you pros and cons, but you need to make the strategic decision. So brand strategy, how you're positioning your company, that is not a ChatGPT question, right? But it can help you get there. Marketing strategies, marketing plans, annual plans, stuff like that. Like it can help you with elements of it, but it can't give you the overall strategy. Oftentimes small business owners will put in like, I need to sell this many tomatoes this summer, right? What should I do? And then like ChatGPT will be like, do a radio ad. So you have to use your head, right? So it's just taking the general content. And business strategies, of course, you are not going to just use, but you can ask, what was the business strategy behind what this company did? How did they make that decision? What are the pros? And do some research that way to help you make business strategy decisions. Does that make sense to everybody? The other thing I can't do is first-person research and competitive nuances. So when I talk to clients and small businesses, one of the first things you need to do is create a buyer persona, interview your clients, talk to your clients, find out how you're better, how you're different, what they think of you, who they are, all of those amazing things. An interview is a first-hand research or first-person research. ChatGPT doesn't give you that, right? So you actually should be talking to your clients, right? And getting information from them and not solely, or customers, and not solely relying on what ChatGPT says people who buy homemade cheesecake want. What do your people who buy homemade cheesecake want? That's very different than what the general public, what's on in the internet. Innovation, like I said before, it can help you be innovative, but it doesn't have new thoughts. It doesn't have anything that's not already out there. Create vision and leadership for your business. You guys, you own your, like, if you're the owners, you're the business, you're the vision, you're the leadership. Don't let any AI tool take that away from you. That's a privilege to be a creator. And then the last thing is human connection, right? Like, especially for smaller businesses, like there is nothing more important than the human connection that you have with your clients, with your customers, with the community. And AI can't do that for you. That's you, right? That's why I still do a lot of live, I don't do as many as I used to, but I do live videos on my social media because that's like me. That's a human, authentic connection. Okay, so how do you actually get ChatGPT to work for you? It's all about the prompts. So what you want to do is you need to be very specific. So when you go into ChatGPT, for those of you who haven't been in it, there's like a box and you're just going to write in a prompt, right? You're going to ask it a question or tell it to do something. You want to be really clear. So the more specific you are in the prompt, the better the output. You also want to take an iterative approach to ChatGPT. So based on what it answers you, you want to then ask it to refine, right? And so the first thing that ChatGPT gives you is not going to probably be what you end up with. Sometimes it actually takes longer to use ChatGPT than it would be to write something yourself. I know when I first started with ChatGPT and before I had it trained properly on what my views are, it would take me forever to get a blog that was kind of decent with ChatGPT. I took an iterative approach though, right? And the more that you do in ChatGPT, the more it's going to learn. You can actually get ChatGPT to help you figure out how to prompt it to get what you want. So this is like the best thing you could possibly do is if you have a goal, say you want to create a social media content calendar for your business, right? You could say, hey, ChatGPT, I would like to create a social media calendar for my business. What information do you need from me to be able to create a social media calendar that will give me this result? Ask me 10 questions. And then ChatGPT will ask you a series of questions, and then you answer them. And then what you get back is going to be so much more valuable. So if you haven't done this before and you're not getting the kind of results you want, this is a really great way to give ChatGPT what it needs and the context that it needs to give you results that are really specific to what you need. Okay. And then the last one is to provide context and data. So you want to feed ChatGPT the information that it needs in order to give you the response. So if you just say, hey, write me a content calendar, and you don't give it any other information other than this is my company, you're not going to get a very good content calendar, right? So you want to give it context. What are your goals? What are your objectives? And like I said, just ask it, what does it need from you? Okay, so here's some quick examples. There is going to be a downloadable that you can get at the end that has some prompting questions to give you some ideas. So there's a question prompt. So for instance, what are some creative ideas for gaining repeat purchase at retail, right? For my product, and you would give it more context. So you can ask a question. So that's some question prompts. Then you have the fill in the blank prompts. These ones are really great because you can get it to act like anybody. So you could say, acting as a nutrition-focused branding expert. You might not be a branding expert, but ChatGPT can act as a branding expert. Create 3 social media post ideas with captions for a food processing company launching a new line of high-protein snacks using the best practices from Facebook and Instagram to improve engagement and reach. Right? And so you have to give it exactly what you want. You could say, give me these in a document so I can download it if you wanted to give the format. So again, there's going to be a downloadable with lots of ideas for you on how to use these type of prompts, but this is kind of what you got to get into. So it's only going to be as good as the prompts that you give it. Then I often say the data dump prompt is really good. So basically, brain dump. Like if you want to do a blog on something and you have an opinion, do a big brain dump, right? or if you have like a bunch of social media posts that you love, like you can actually attach them and say, hey, here's a social media post I love. Customers were engaged with these posts. Why were they so engaged? Right? And like do a data dump and then ask for variations. So that is a really great way. The more you feed it, the better the results. These are just a few stats to basically say that no matter what, you need to be authentic, right? So even though we're using ChatGPT and AI, you still need to be authentic. You need to be transparent, and people are looking for that. So this is not a course on authenticity, but you need to get the right voice in your prompts. You need to make sure that what you're doing feels authentic to people. So how do you actually get the right voice? I'm not going to be able to go into too much detail, but basically the first step is you need to understand what your brand personality is, right? And you can tell it. So when you're asking for social media posts, you ask it to give them in a certain voice, right? You can also do the data dump approach to get your voice. So if you've done a lot of blogs that you've written yourself, or you've done a lot of social media posts and you want to keep that voice, you can data dump and say, hey, here's my content. How would I describe this brand voice to ChatGPT for future posts? And then it will give you some options, right? It might say, okay, this is really straightforward, this is really funny, or whatever. And so then you can do it that way. You can create your own custom brand voice GPT, which is what I have done. We're not going to get into how to do that, but if you are more advanced, you would go to Explore GPTs, which is on the left-hand side of your screen, and create a new one. There is a course that I have that can teach you how to do that. The next thing, again, is you're going to iterate. So you text the brand voice. So get it to give you how to ask for the brand voice, and then get it to do a couple things to make sure that it's the right brand voice, right? Don't just assume that because it's saying you're witty that it's going to be the right brand voice. Test it. And then of course, we always are going to add the human touch. Okay. Okay, we're going to skip this. And I'm going to just jump into what's in my toolbox. So just so you know, this image was generated through ChatGPT. I said, hey, DALL-E, and you can see what I've asked it for. And it created this really cool image that I use in all of my AI presentations because I really love it. So if you want to drop in the chat for everybody to see how or what AI tools you're using outside of ChatGPT, then please do so. If not, you can look and see what I have. So first I have a little somebody who wants to say something to you.
Bet you can't wait to see what cool AI tools are in Hayley's toolbox. The one that created me is called Synthesia. She doesn't use this tool that much yet, but it's pretty cool. She's still deciding if I freak her out or if having an AI clone will be helpful and still feel authentic. We're curious to hear your thoughts. Let her know in the chat. Basically, the real Hayley cloned herself by following video prompts. Then she types out what she wants me, her AI twin, to say. Back to you, real Hayley.
Yeah, you guys.
Bet you can't wait to see what cool AI tools are. Bet you can't wait to see what cool AI.
So what do you think of that? So you can literally clone yourself or somebody else, or use some kind of avatar. That product that does that is called Synthesia, which is at the very bottom of this list, my toolbox. So I'm dabbling here. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. That was my first attempt, but let me know, like, how do you feel about using those clones? Sometimes you like just want to do like a quick little video and like maybe like you're still in your PJs and you haven't washed your hair for 10 days. And you might want to use that clone, right? So let us know in the chat, like, what do you think of that idea of cloning yourself or using some other avatar to create videos for your social media? It's amusing. It's crazy. It's I don't know how I feel yet, but it is definitely a tool that's out there. Okay. So this is what's in my toolbox that I use the most frequently. Again, you guys are going to get this with the links in the downloadable, so you don't have to scramble to write anything down. You also get this presentation. So ChatGPT, obviously. Descript is another product that I use. If you do a lot of videos, if you have a podcast or anything like that, it removes filler words. So I have a problem. I really do. And so it will remove all of those ums and so's, those kind of things. Right? Okay, so the next one is Vidio or video.ai. This will take long form videos. So if you have like this session, for instance, if we record the session, we could actually put it in Vidio and it would create, using AI and algorithms, figure out like what are the most interesting parts of this that we can then create a reel with or a story. And it will cut it for you. So you don't have to do it all yourself. So it'll come up with like 5 or 6 different options. You could look at them. If you like it, you just download them and go, right? It's very quick. Grammarly, somebody mentioned that earlier. That is absolutely one of the best tools for me. Because like I said, I'm quick, like I'm always on the go. And so it really helps me. This is a Chrome extension, so you can just get it on Chrome. Again, it's going to be in the downloadable. Fathom, I know somebody's using it because I saw it pop up for this session. Fathom is note-taking extraordinaire. It's not really marketing, but if you have any online meetings, you should check out Fathom or other assistants like that. It literally takes all of the meeting, it takes all of the notes, it gives you your action items. You can then actually go into Fathom and ask it questions. So like I might have a sales call with somebody and be like, I don't know really how they felt about that. So I could go into Fathom and say, hey, how did Bob feel about this call? And using its AI intelligence will give me its view on how Bob felt about that call. So Fathom's really, really a time saver for me. Obviously, Canva, if you're a small business, I assume most of you are using Canva. If you're not, you should check it out. It has a bunch of AI add-ons. They're so numerous, it's too much to get into. Synthesia, which I just mentioned. And then another one that might be interesting for you is Scribe. Scribe gives you how-to documents for your business. So just to give you a really quick view on Scribe. So I went into Scribe the other day and I basically showed it how to create a custom GPT. Custom GPT, like I said, is the one that you would create to like train it to, like for me, my podcast is trained on it. You could train it to do your brand voice every time. So anyways, literally it took the video, took screenshots from the video that it took, shows you the little things, and it's really cool, right? And so this is really good. Like if you guys have processes, safety things, recipes even, you can use and try using Scribe for that kind of thing. Okay, so I really rushed through the second half. If you want to learn more about AI, ChatGPT, how you can use it for your marketing, there is a downloadable. So if you would like to get that downloadable, I would love for you to scan this QR code or click on the link. It's going to ask you a couple questions to basically help me to make this presentation better for others. So give your feedback, honest feedback, what was great, what was awful, that kind of thing. And once you do, put in cooking in the prompt and you will have access to the downloadable. The downloadable will also give you 75% off my ChatGPT on Purpose course. It's only a $27 course, so I think you get it for less than 10 bucks. And if you are new to ChatGPT and you want to see demos and how to use it and stuff like that, that would be a great course for you. It's only an hour. I have multiple videos, but it's an hour kind of cumulative. And then you're going to get the prompts, like some sample prompts for your industry, and also my list that I just shared with you with the links so that you can go test them out yourself. And that is all. That link will also be shared in the follow-up email.
Thank you so much, Hayley. And yeah,
Didn't
if
know
you
I could talk that fast.
No, that was awesome. And I just want to say this for everybody attending. I want to thank you all for your time here. I know we're 3 minutes above our time slot, but this is very exciting stuff. So we will definitely stick around to do the Q&A, but out of respect for your time as well, if you guys do need to go, that's more than fine. We are going to record the session and send it back to you, and it will include the Q&A session for you. And if you are tuning in from our video as well, some of these links that Hayley just shared with you will also be available for the follow-up email that we'll be sharing. Otherwise, just scan that QR code from the video and you'll get that access. So thank you guys all for your time here. We'll get right into the Q&A and get started.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Thank you for listening. All
Yeah.
right.
And I just want to
Ready?
preface, we would love to have you guys stay with us. But if you guys need to go, absolutely no problem. And thank you guys all. So let's get started with some of the questions here. I'm actually going to go with one directly from the chat from Anne. So the question here is, I would like to know how many people are going to use these tools directly for marketing, or will they expect their vendors to?
Ooh, interesting.
Hmm.
So if you do your own marketing, you will be using the tools. Your vendors, I guarantee, will be using the tools. And so it's actually a good thing for you to know, right? So try it yourself, see how long it takes, and then decide if you really want to pay somebody that amount of money.
Yeah. And on that piece, just to also expand, I think one of the really interesting tools about AI is that if you have a vendor or competitor that you like their strategy for, that's where some of the tweaks and stuff that you could do is you can take some of that extrapolated, put it into ChatGPT, some of your business's context. It can give you some features or some examples of how you can maybe do the same thing with your own flair, your own style, your own writing direction. It's a great
Absolutely.
question. So thank you, Anne. Let's get into some of the other ones that came in here. So Zeneda actually asked two questions here, so I'll start with one of them. Can AI be biased specifically on decision making? I think that's very interesting.
Gosh. I don't use AI for decision making. So it can be biased on the information that it feeds you, right? Based on where it's gathering that information. And then I would fact check the information you get, and then you make the decision, because yeah, it could be biased for sure. And also we don't want to give that power to AI.
Yeah, and I can also add to that, there's definitely a bias that AI inherently has, but the bias that it has is placed to safeguard other things. It's more or less to make sure that none of the items that it's giving you are inflammatory. Or for the example that Hayley was mentioning for some of the food ingredients, it's doing its best to make sure that it's not telling you to put raw chicken into your smoothie. So it's things like that where AI might have bias just based on the input that it's taking in, just like Hayley also mentioned. So the most inherent bias that you will see is more or less with the details regarding some of these safety precautions that they have for some of the data protections, as far as I know. Okay, and then the second question from Zaneta was also, will AI defeat human intelligence? Ooh, Skynet questions are coming in. I love that.
I don't think so. There's things that AI cannot do, and there's nuances that it cannot see. I mean, it is smart and it's getting smarter. But I don't think it's ever going to replace humans. But I don't know. What do you think, Marwan?
I think it's a very interesting question. But it's one of those things where I believe to the very basic context that you were speaking to, it might be better at doing math than us when it comes to calculations, might be doing better than us in terms of getting a data analysis quicker than you. But there is an inherent human nature about emotional intelligence, about understanding surroundings. At the end of the day, you're speaking to a box in a box that's linked to different servers. They're not sitting in the room feeling the air, feeling different things that you might essentially understand from experience, from personal background. And these are some of the things that I think no matter how good AI gets, there's always going to be, for example, in the video that Hayley had for her AI clone, that might do very well for some tutorials and stuff like that, but they're all going to understand if they know Hayley that the mannerisms aren't exactly the same. And I think a comment in the chat was talking about how the lip syncing is off and different things like that. No matter how good AI gets, there's always like a pixel of imperfection that's never going to be in line with human intelligence and how human intelligence can really meld some of those elements together. But I wouldn't recommend anybody to try to get into a math competition with AI anytime soon or in the future.
Yeah.
So hopefully
One
that
of the
answers
things I
that.
use AI for is, which it's not as good as human, but it's pretty decent, is we do all these interviews with people's best clients to build their personas out, and their ideal clients, so they know what to say and stuff. And so we have like all these interviews, and we obviously take the names out, but I can upload them all to AI, and I've trained it to analyze them the way I would analyze it. So when I uploaded it to AI originally and it analyzed it, it did not do what I wanted it to do. So then I had to go back in, create a custom, and tell it exactly how I wanted to analyze it. It's not perfect, but it's close, but it's never going to be as good as me looking for connections that AI may not see. It's a good example.
Right. Yeah, I think the best way to put it, it's almost like AI is the best way of getting your raw materials, but you better be cooking with it because you're gonna have that cook's touch. You're gonna know how much spices you want to do for your recipe that you want to put out there. So yeah, we can. That's a great question there, Zaneta. Thank you so much for that. And I think as a follow-up here, there's a couple of anonymous questions. So, what tools save you the most time in your day-to-day?
For me, it's ChatGPT, 100,000%. But mostly because I've created my own GPTs. So I found when I was just using ChatGPT, I have the paid version, by the way, which is a little bit smarter, a little bit more logical, or like it has enhanced capabilities. But because I've trained it, so I have a chat, and I can show you guys later, but I have a ChatGPT that is marketing on purpose, voice, right? And so I've actually fed it my entire book. So I wrote a book. The entire book is the background. I've asked it not to go online and find information. I've fed it my presentations. I've fed it all of my proprietary information. So it's risky, but it's online anyway, so I don't really care. Anyway, and it's in a book, it's public. But now it's pulling only from that, and that has saved me so much time. So that's what I use the absolute most, is those customized GPTs. I find sometimes if they're not custom, it actually sometimes takes me longer than it would have otherwise to get to what I wanted to get to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
fully agree with that.
Yeah. I also find that Veed, it's not on the slides, but it is in the tool, the downloadable is VEED, is my new favorite or tool, I guess, for video editing, chopping videos, adding things, taking out hums. Like that's my new favorite, and I use that a lot too.
Yeah, and I think on that note, I also agree. I think ChatGPT is kind of the hub for that right now, just because of how those GPTs are integrated. There's such a variety from copywriting to designing, but there is a limitation between the paid and free versions, just in case you do want to explore that. So that's another heads up there, like heavy data sets and different things like that. GPT might tell you that it ran out of time or credits to calculate that for you. So just bear that in mind. And also, just as another heads up, there's so many tools out there that are so great. But when you're going out there to explore AI tools, you want to be careful about where you access some of them, as there's a lot of people just kind of putting them out there. So sticking to ChatGPT is a really good way to also protect some of your proprietary information and data so that you're using verified GPTs that they're including to the platform. And there's also things like Copilot and Gemini, which are like GPT's competition. And I think they excel in some parts and some others. But for me personally, GPT is my main hub. If I want to have a conversation after work about something I'm really interested in, I usually plug into Copilot, and they have this really interesting like phone call feature. It's almost like you're talking to a distant cousin somewhere else that knows exactly how to talk to you. And the best part about it is that you can interrupt them at any point and tell them that you don't want to hear about this or you want to hear about something else. And it's a very interesting new human experience to get involved in to kind of ask questions. So I think to Hayley's point, that's what's going to take over Google, because I'd much rather have like an assistant with a really nice voice and very calm and always willing to help me out, even if I'm freaking out, if my headache is going to be something, but Google's going to tell me it's cancer. This is what really helps kind of segment that. So I think these AIs are going into really interesting places, but just as an advisory, I think if you're new to this stuff, just be very careful with how the information's plugging in. And just to Haley's point, I think she's going to be fine with her book on GPT. So definitely feel free to kind of dabble with that within that realm. So thank you for that question. Now moving on, what are some of your tips on AI prompting to achieve the best results for any research, data collection, or tasks that you're carrying out? I think you spoke a bit to that, but is there maybe anything that you'd like to add to or elaborate there, Hayley?
Yeah, it's just that you need to be patient with ChatGPT. So the tips were basically you need to give it context. So the more information you can give it, the better. ChatGPT actually on your phone, like you can literally just talk into it. So I do that all the time. I'll be like, oh, I'm going on a well, I just did this the other day. It's not food related, but I'm going on a trip. I'm going to Mexico. I need, a resort that is LGBTQ friendly. I needed a swim out pool. I need like all of this stuff. And where do you suggest we go? Da 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 da. And it pulled up, but I gave it the context and I just literally spoke it. So it was like I was, making supper and I had my phone out and I was like doing research at the same time. So context, context, context. The more you can feed it, the better the response. And then iterate, iterate, iterate. Ask questions, refine. Yeah. That's
Yeah,
the best way.
that's really good feedback. And on that reiteration, like don't always feel free to tell it new things. If you think there's something more that you can add to it, do that. It's one of those tools where if you prompt it once to be some way, it's always going to benefit by more prompts to improve and be better. Because there's always things changing with the data. There's always things changing with your perspective. So always feel free to give that to it. Because if you don't, it's going to stick to the other stuff. It's kind of like what Hayley was mentioning. It's what you put in, the more you put in, is also the more value that you can get from the output as well.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And we have a last question here. So how do you go about protecting your proprietary and sensitive data when utilizing AI tools?
Don't put it in. Don't do it. Don't put it in. So I said I put my book in. Well, I did not put my book in until it was published.
Yeah.
Right. So anything that's public information, I put it in if it's going to help train the GPT to give me what I want. But anything that's real proprietary, just don't do it. Do not put it in. It's better safe than sorry. You can take a look at their privacy policies. But as we know, there's scammers, there's hackers, there's like, all of that stuff. And so I always err on the side of caution. I never put people's names in. I do use it to pull public information though, right? Addresses, phone numbers, names, like I said earlier for like creating a sales contact list or something. It's public. If it's public, I'm fine with it. But if it's not, I don't put it in. Unless I don't care. Like ChatGPT knows how much I weigh. ChatGPT knows what my body fat percentage is, right? But I don't care if it knows that.
That's really good feedback, Hayley. And I think more from a side because I saw some interest from people that might not have dabbled with AI when it comes to marketing, or maybe it's also an arena where marketing isn't really something that they want to dabble with. So I think also to a certain extent, I just want to point out that there's some proprietary and sensitive data that people might not be aware of. And one of the things that could come up, just like Hayley said, is like some of the contact details and information. For example, if you're running and operating an online business that's serving different areas, you might be subject to regulations such as GDPR, CAN-SPAM. There's other regulations dealing with how the information of your client's being handled. So when we're talking proprietary, we're not just talking about the secret recipe, right, to your products and items. Strategy could be one of those things, because the one thing you need to understand is that if you're putting in input about your competitors to build a strategy for yourself, and ChatGPT provided it to you, what that means is that that competitor could also probably prompt it to get some of that back, right? So it's always to keep in mind that what you're getting from this thing isn't necessarily fresh to everybody. It's fresh to you, right? So just keep in mind that whatever information you're plugging in from your contacts, some strategy pieces there, if you're really, really concerned about it, if like this is something that's patent pending, absolutely not. I would highly recommend that you don't. But just like Hayley said, if there's information that you know and you're comfortable with, in sharing outside, GPT is more than happy to take that from you. It's why it's an open source platform, and it's why it's also free, because you're the product in more ways than one. So just bear that in mind when you're plugging in some of these pieces in there. And I think this segues from the previous notes. If you're new to this, make sure that you're using verified plugins, verified platforms, There's a lot of web pages that do a copy down of ChatGPT and ask you for your email. And then all of a sudden, you've got calls and spam calls from all over the world asking you about your Bell bill and how you could like proceed with that. So just be careful with how your information's out there. Yeah, that was a great question. I think it's always going to be an arena that we should focus on as this stuff gets better and better and better, right? Keep that human intelligence aspect to keep us in check with this.
I would also say if you are using ChatGPT and you have a concern about that, there, and I know I mentioned it in, but I was speaking very fast. There is a setting that you can choose to have it not remember your conversations. So every time you go and create a new chat, you're going to have to give it all the context over again. But you can set it to not remember. And then you can also set it, or you can also look and see what ChatGPT knows about you. So I was going to share that in the presentation, but I ran out of time. But like if you go into the settings, go into personalization, then go into memory, you can look and see what does it know about you, and then you can X out the stuff that you don't want it to know, right? And so it won't remember them, hopefully for you or anyone else, but it is that little extra thing that you can do to safeguard. And then also if you have a conversation with ChatGPT and you're like, oh, I wish I didn't have that conversation, you could actually in the notes say, please forget this entire conversation, or please forget this entire chat, and it will erase it from its memory.
Right. This was
That's
a
great feedback.
wonderful presentation, Hayley. I really appreciate it. I got a lot out of it, being a kind of Luddite myself. And so I am now very anxious to go out there and try ChatGPT. Marwan's emailing me in the back going, you should try this. I'm definitely up there. I'm going to be doing it. Thank you very much. Very entertaining. And I think our audience will get a lot out of this. So everyone, thank you if you stuck around to watch. Just keep an eye out on the email that will be coming. It will have a PDF version of this presentation from Hayley, and also some links to her sites and things that she's going to give us discounts on and things you can take advantage of. We really appreciate it, Hayley. I was very happy to have found you to be a speaker for us. Worked out wonderfully. Thank you, everyone. Keep an eye out for our next Speaking Food invitation coming in February, and we will see you all again.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, Hayley. Have a great day, everyone. Take care.
Bye.